The pandemic caused thousands of small businesses across the country to close their doors. And like so much of the suffering brought on by COVID-19, the impact was far worse in Black communities. While 17% of small businesses with white owners were forced to close, 41% of Black-owned small businesses closed. But we're seeing a resurgence, one that researchers think is linked to the stimulus payments and is strongest in the Black communities. Joining me now is Scott Stern, professor at MIT Sloan School of Management and one of the researchers of this data, and Jennifer Jones Austin, CEO and executive director of the Federation of Protestant Welfare Agencies in New York. Let me start with you, Professor Stern. Your team looked at data from 8 states around the country and noticed the same pattern. Small businesses registration spiking around the stimulus check. In this map of Atlanta, for example, we can see that some of the areas with the biggest spikes are neighborhoods with a majority Black population. Was this trend replicated in other cities and states?
Absolutely. First, thank you for having me and for your interest here. What we saw was a dramatic decline right at the time of the pandemic last March, but then following the relief checks that started to come out in late, the passage in late March and then subsequently in April, the further activities in December and February, we saw after each of those a significant rise in overall new business starts and particularly concentrated in Black neighborhoods.
Now, Jennifer, with so many of these gains happening in communities that have been traditionally cut off from resources, how can we use this data as a playbook for what is possible when we have equitable investments in Black communities?
Well, I think the first thing, let me just thank you for having me on. Really appreciate being here and talking about this critical topic. The first thing we have to appreciate is that what the research showed was that these businesses grew in Black communities with higher median income. And so what that tells us is that the people who were using these stimulus checks, the unemployment checks, weren't necessarily the lowest income persons, the persons who needed it to pay their bills, keep the lights on, cover their rent, cover food expenses. This may have been for them, I don't want to say discretionary income, but income that was available to them to do something other than pay for basic needs. And so that's important to note because that means that, small investments can really boost small business. Mm-hmm. The supplement payments weren't gigantic. What it tells us that government can invest in Black communities, in Black businesses, and that it could pay off. What we'll have to see is whether or not the incomes that are generated from these small business ventures actually are greater than the conventional incomes that these persons were earning, causing them to want to keep going, to stay in business for themselves.
Now, Professor, was there anything in your research that really stood out to you that you think our viewers should know? And what's next for this project?
Absolutely. So first, I just wanted to pick up on something that Jennifer mentioned, and I think is really important. Where we see this is higher neighborhoods with higher median income Black neighborhoods. That really speaks to that we know there's been a legacy of discrimination against Black entrepreneurs. And here, the relief checks were distributed very broadly, including to communities of color. And that seems to have sort of been associated with this spur to new business formation. So first, I think it's really important to recognize the opportunity this was for the opportunity that Black entrepreneurs are pursuing in this context. In terms of our next steps, we continue to track this through the Startup Cartography Project, a joint research project with Jorge Guzman, Catherine Fazio, and UPenn Glue. And in addition to that, we really are focusing on, will we see the persistence of this acceleration in entrepreneurship? Can this be the beginning of sustained economic dynamism? And also, let's make sure that the Small Business Administration, state and local, are really focused on letting these businesses scale and realize their potential to bring inclusive prosperity to all communities.
Yeah, that's important. Jennifer, as the CEO of FPWA and an anti-poverty activist, you must have seen the impact of the stimulus money on the lives of people in need in real time. What lessons should we take away from the success of those payments, and what policies do we need moving forward?
So, concerning low-income persons, these stimulus payments were critical in helping them to cover basic goods, cover, the cost of food, cover their rent, sometimes transportation if they were essential workers who were still out there going about their business. And in some instances, they may have been going about their business, but people in their households had lost their jobs, lost their incomes. So the stimulus payments made a difference. But what's important to note is that these people were suffering so much because this nation isn't paying fair, livable wages and isn't providing the critical income supports that are necessary, like the child tax credit, which has been increased, but not on a permanent basis. And so I think the lesson, the big takeaway is that people, low-income people, struggle the most, not because they weren't willing to do their fair share, but rather because this government has not allowed low-income people with, this depression of wages to save for a rainy day.
All right. Let me say this before thanking both of you. I want to make this special announcement. First, let me disclose that Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin's father, Reverend Dr. William Augustus Jones, was the one who mentored me from when I was 12 in civil rights. He appointed me as the youth director of New York Operation Breadbasket, and you see some pictures there. When I was about 15, we were getting ready to go somewhere and go to jail. And then later in life, I went from a Pentecostal boy preaching, became a Baptist. He actually baptized me a Baptist and was my pastor. But he was a lot more than that. He was one of the leading theologians and master preachers in this country. And for that reason, we're having a colloquium on the ministry, activism, and life of Dr. William Augustus Jones this week. National Action Network is joining Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin and some of the leading activists and clergymen. You can tune in on Thursday and watch it on www.nationalactionnetwork.net or go to YouTube. You do not know Black history if you don't know about Dr. William Jones and his 1979 book, God in the Ghetto, which you will think he wrote it yesterday. Attorney Jones Austin and I will be hosting that, and a stellar array of Black activists, theologians, and academicians. Thank you, Scott Stern. Thank you, Attorney Jennifer Jones Austin. Up next, my final thoughts. Stay with us.